I was contacted by my current CEO, Howard Berman, and he reached out and said, Daniel.
2 years ago, we identified Tregs as one of the 3 leading therapies that we would fight for because, number 1, it could be done, and number 2, it works.
Do you want to help me commercialize Dr. Stanley Appel's regulatory T-cell therapy?
Sharon's husband, Larry, was in the original phase 1, what they called at the time, Treg trial. Now it's called the regulatory T-cell therapy.
You see, Dr. Appel had treated my Uncle Bill in 2000. And back then, he was already known as the father of ALS. So when asked, I enthusiastically said yes. Now, 3 years later, we're a public company, and we're working to be a paradigm change for the ALS and neurodegenerative disease communities.
So all of these correlations and these links led to the idea, let's do a phase 1 trial, and let's take these patients' cells, we can expand the cells, and we can convert these cells from being dysfunctional to functional. The phase 1 trial showed in a fast progressing, a medium progressing, and a slow progressing patient, when you gave the infusions, it stopped. It didn't delay slow progression, it stopped progression.
Not only that, but I had been keenly aware of every therapeutic in the ALS space for the past 10 years. And Dr. Appel's phase 1 regulatory T-cell therapy was the only one to make meaningful change for ALS patients.
It all comes down to money. It comes down to finances, and something that slowed my husband stabilized him. I think you have the video. Do you have the video, Mike?
I do.
This is the first time we've seen any indication where we give something and rather than slowing progression, we stop progression. And that's very, very exciting.
So how about that, right?
So
Notice the wording there, huh? Yeah.
Stopped it. And what you were seeing
That's right.
there was Larry's.
That's
So
right.
they did an ALS scale where they're checking for that muscle durability, reflexes, everything they can, and he stabilized. He was not progressing. And the difficult things, as you know, Mike, with a trial, is that fortunately he qualified to do the second part and
Right.
stabilized again.
So we should talk about that because I don't think we have.
So we're talking about 2016, 2017,
Wow.
and Larry
Wow.
stabilized. You know, he was given 3 to 5 years to live, and he lived
Incredible.
8.5 years.
At the very least, we had hoped that maybe we would slow the process. We actually stopped the progression of ALS in a way that had not been done before. We stopped progression. We had hoped that maybe we would slow the process. We stopped progression. We actually stopped the progression of ALS.
I truly believe, Mike, that we have something that is differentiated and unique here based on what we've seen in early clinical trials, and it appears to be very safe based on what we've seen so far.
I agree.
It could progress him faster. It could slow him. He was really there to study safety and efficacy. And I really
Right.
talked to him a lot about, look, you may be a slow progressor. Do you want to do this and risk progressing faster?
Right.
And one of the things he said, and I had talked to him about that before when I tried to talk him into trials, he said, you know, you told me once, Sharon, if not me, then who? And so if not me, then who?